Folks, welcome back to another episode of Coffee, Tea, and Crime. Today, 52 years for justice. Folks, back in November 1972, a fella named George Nickel, he just gotten out of the Army. He done a 4-year tour and did a year in Vietnam. Was a decorated soldier during that conflict. Well, he gets home, and home is there in Vernal, Utah. So it's the 26th of that month, and he's on a date with a girl, and they pull off there at a rest area on Highway 40 there in town. From that rest area, it's a overlook. You can see down into the town and see the lights and the mountains and all that. So it's a good way to end the date. While they're sitting there, a fella comes up and taps on the window. Says there's been a car wreck and he needs their help. Now Mr. Nickel, he rolls his window down. Subject pulls out a pistol and then shoots Mr. Nickel multiple times. Now he falls over into the passenger seat, into the lap of the female that's in the car. The man opens the door and pushes Mr. Nickel over further into the passenger seat on top of the female. And he takes off driving down Highway 40. He drives for a little bit, and another car comes up behind him, gets in front of him, and then both the cars pull over and stop. Now, according to the female, she said there was one fellow in that other car, and he got out and was talking to the fellow that had shot Mr. Nickel. So they keep on driving, turn down on a country road, and they're in the vast wasteland of Utah. Now they get the female out of the car, then they set the car on fire with Mr. Nickel still in it. Now they take that female, then both sexually assaulted the female. Now the two men, they then drive off with the female, and they drive for several hours according to the victim. And they finally pull over near a town west of Vernal, and they sexually assault the female again. Told her, keep your eyes closed, and then in a few minutes you can open your eyes and you just keep walking in this direction and you'll find a town and you'll find some help. So she does what they say, and they drive off. She opens her eyes, she takes off walking, finally comes across a house, because she's out there not quite in the middle of nowhere, but real close to it. But she's able to get help. Now this case remains unsolved. Now they have some DNA evidence. They send it off to the Utah State Crime Lab, and they got a hit on an individual. So they go to hunt him down. He's living up in Washington State now. Well, they get there and they find out he's died that same year. So they interview his wife. According to her, her husband had mentioned that a friend of her husband's had been the other fellow that was with him when they had sexually assaulted a female. Now you wonder how the wife can hear such a story and then stay with a fella. So she gave the police the first name, that's all she knew. So they tracked this fella down. The first thing they did was just look to see who his known associates had been in the past, who he'd been arrested with. Well, they get the fella and they compare his DNA, and they get another hit. Both the suspects had long criminal histories. Now they went and they got a warrant. They went and served it on this fella. Now this suspect is still alive. He was 74 years old. It took a little bit of time. They was finally able to transport him back to Utah. 52 years to the day of the murders, he's brought back and put in the jail there in Utah. and he's charged with first-degree felony murder, kidnapping, and rape of the female. I saw some of the interviews with the sister of Mr. Nickel, and she was the only one left out of the family. Younger brother was dead, her parents were dead. All she had left was some cousins. But she was glad that the truth had finally come out. She knew who had taken the life of her brother.